You have never, ever been on a podcast.
I have never, ever been on a podcast. So
See
you
yourself
have
on a-
literally popped my cherry. This is my first time.
Make sure they're on your ear so you can hear.
Thank you, Howie.
There you go. You're in the music business. You should know that. You said.
No, this
What?
is like everyone has so many issues with these headphones.
Can somebody help him with the head?
That's good. I can hear you now.
What?
Yeah.
And put your mic in front of you. See your microphone?
Yeah,
Yes. There we are. It's almost like radio. Is that good, or is it focusing on the arm of their?
And this is being filmed, right?
This is a camera. These are cameras, and we're being recorded. You have never, ever been on a podcast.
I have never, ever been on a podcast. I'm seeing myself right now on a bike. This is so weird.
Oh, it's weird to
so
see
you
yourself
have
on a bike.
literally popped my cherry. This is my first time.
Are you talking to me or my daughter?
You.
Okay. Thank you.
You.
First time, and you're gonna get him canceled.
No, I won't get you canceled. I didn't say it. But so
But you got to just acclimatize me here. Tell me what's going on, because I genuinely never, ever, ever. Someone said to me a few years ago, "Podcasts of the future." So I don't know what you're talking about. So I've never done one.
Okay, so a podcast is basically
Wait, first, there's
Yes.
people listening and not watching too. So maybe we should say who's
it's like
here
radio.
in case you're not
This is
watching.
Exactly.
Nelly.
Thank
What's
you.
Nelly?
Ellie.
Ellie.
That's a good start.
And, well, Ellie is works with you, Simon,
Yes.
and this is her 4th day on the job.
Fourth day, yeah.
Yes, I think you've done
Yeah.
well. She
For me, that's a miracle.
4 days.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we waiting for Anne-Marie? She's going to be here in a minute.
We're already recording. You know, you're on TV.
On TV?
Yes,
How we
you
have
are.
cameras
You're blocking
everywhere.
the camera. Right here.
Well, look, let's start. I'm sure it'll be
have you
fine.
ever been on a podcast? You're in front of that camera now.
Ellie, have you ever been on a podcast before?
And she's out. She's gone.
out. Well, that was quick. Poor Ellie.
I think not only you, but everybody that works with you has never been at a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you have a message for him? Do you
I
have a
think
message?
she's trying to say don't start until.
She doesn't want us to start. Oh, does she want us to wait?
Yeah, how long is she going to be?
She's going to be here any minute.
Any minute.
So we'll
So
wait.
just prep me in the meantime.
Okay.
So tell me what I'm seeing now. So that's the screen.
That's what people are seeing on that shot.
Yeah.
This is between me and my daughter. You know,
Yeah.
my daughter Jackie.
And you're almost falling
And
every 1 minute.
we make
So you are going to see a recreation of me falling off and breaking my back.
well, we want it to be realistic.
You know, it was the anniversary of that, I think 2 days ago.
A lot of people I know didn't celebrate. Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's gone like that. It's so quick.
But it kind of is something to celebrate because look at where you are. You're here. You're fine. You're walking
here.
around. You're happy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it is
To be serious for me, I don't want to step on Anne Marie's toe. She doesn't want us to start, and I know cameras are rolling and they don't stop. Is she close? Is she close? I love that the talent is here on time, but the publicist.
That's a very good point.
Pardon me?
Should I bring her in? You guys can talk about something.
Yeah.
We're never gonna use her.
Yeah, we should freak Anne Marie out when we.
No, so tell me how this works. So
Okay.
you record this,
Yes,
and then what happens?
and then Jeremy there edits it.
Hi, Jeremy.
They have microphones.
So you have a
We can
big team here.
Yes.
Right.
And well, that's we have a director, editor, we have
Yeah.
somebody on sound, we have a producer sitting there, we have somebody on cameras. These cameras they move
Yeah.
and they focus.
Yeah.
So we record it and then they upload it to wherever people get their podcasts. Some people listen to it on Apple, some
Yeah.
people listen to it on Spotify, some people listen to it on iHeartRadio. There's all different platforms where you can listen to audio. Most people listen to their podcast while they're driving to work
Yeah.
or they're exercising. They'll listen to it on their Peloton, which happens to not be a sponsor of ours, but
No.
That's
But
not
I'm-
true. Most people listen to or watch our podcast on YouTube.
On
I
YouTube.
think that's our
Is that
biggest
right?
audience is YouTube.
So what's the biggest one you've ever done?
I think on YouTube,
Yeah.
Ethan Klein. And you're giving the same look. I didn't know Ethan before. I'd watched his He's got probably the #1 podcast in the world, and it's called H3, the H3 podcast. And it's kind of, it's him and his wife and a bunch of friends, and it's very controversial. His is controversial. And that's what I wanted to talk to him about, that because I, like you, do not want to get canceled.
Right.
And we work for, we work for ourselves. Well, I work for you, but you work for, but you work, we work for ourselves, but we are, if brands and sponsors got angry at us, then we wouldn't be able to get paid. So I work very diligently at keeping people who want to advertise on places that I work happy.
So people advertise on this?
They do.
Who?
Well, we have not got a sponsor.
Why?
They can advertise on this.
Well, maybe by the time this episode comes out, and maybe if
why don't we call this "Let's Get Howie a Sponsor" podcast?
Then that's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
We hope that this will be the first
one,
the first sponsored podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is, but maybe we'll cut to me reading a commercial right now for somebody.
Yeah, I'll do one with you.
Okay, but I don't have a product.
Well, we'll just event. Imagine we're like an advertising agency. It's a product we like, and let's just sell it.
Okay. But let me tell you why we don't do that now, because this started out of the pandemic. I was much more neurotic than most people, as you know that about me.
Yes.
And my daughter is, the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't let me around her because I'm of a certain age.
Yeah.
And so the only way I could see her, is Anne here? Is she here?
It's Anne-Marie, darling.
Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie.
I don't see her.
Yeah.
She's not listening?
She's just walking in.
She's just walking in. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure that she's not mad at me.
She's not going to be mad at you.
She might be mad at me.
No. But I think it's a great idea. Find you a sponsor. This is brilliant.
It is a great idea.
Yeah.
I hope but the reason me and Jackie started phoning each other.
Yeah.
And we would do prank calls, or I would call friends, and we would talk about subjects and things like that. And my wife Terry walked in one day and said, "What is this for? Like, you've been on the phone for an hour." And I said, "I'm just talking to my daughter." And she said, "You should record it and it'll be a podcast."
Is that right?
Yes. So we just started recording it, and we've been putting it up, and every week we are getting thousands and thousands and thousands of more subscribers. I haven't gone out to advertisers before this because Anne-Marie, are you mad at me? You could tell me.
You just arrived.
I can hear you.
Hi.
Just to go over everything he said.
He wants to know why the talent got here before
The publicist.
The publicist.
That's never happened before.
Ever.
Fire me.
No, I can't. Anyway, he is just to fill you in on what we talked about. He said
behavior.
He said we popped his cherry because he's never been on a podcast before. This is true. So this is the first. And then he was commenting on our graphics.
And I think we should call this "Find Howie and Jackie a Sponsor."
We don't have a sponsor.
What?
No, this just
No,
came
not
out
yet.
of this just came out of
because I have no idea how this works. I'm asking lots of questions.
So people are listening, and every week thousands and thousands and thousands of more. You asked about the listen or watch on YouTube, and then hopefully we'll build up enough of an audience, and then maybe one sponsor will come in and say, "We'll pay." Boom. We're back in an ad read.
But this ad read I'm really excited about. You know why?
Why?
Because I have been listening. You know, I love like Crime Junkie and those kind of podcasts, true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
But I have kids.
Right.
And so I can't listen to it all the time with the kids in the car. Otherwise, they'll hear it, and I don't want them to hear all that gruesome stuff. So
Right.
guess what I ordered?
I know what you ordered.
What?
Because I ordered them too.
Yeah.
And they're
The
they're-
Raycon wireless earbuds.
You didn't let me see it. Raycon wireless earbuds.
I wanted to say it first. I'm
But
so excited to get them.
And I can't wait to get mine. And the truth is that I listen to, you know what podcast I listen to?
What?
Howie Mandel Does Stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, I listen to that too.
Why wouldn't you bring that up before another one?
Because my kids can sometimes listen to that.
Now, why tell them, meaning our listener
Yeah.
and the other person, tell them why you like the Raycon or why we're excited about getting the Raycon more than any other earbud we could possibly use.
Well, because they look, they feel, and they sound better than ever with optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit. These earbuds are so comfortable. Well, apparently, I've heard they're really, really comfortable and they will not budge. And I hear that everyone loves them.
Well, my friends that have them talk about the comfort, and that's my biggest concern with earbuds. When I'm listening to something, I like to be comfortable.
Right.
That's more important, and have great sound, but I like them to be comfortable. So that's why I can't wait.
Plus, they give you 8 hours of playtime, and there's 32 hours of battery life, so you don't have to keep recharging them like every 2 seconds.
So these are great. I can't wait for my Raycon earbuds.
Me too. Plus, you get quality audio earbuds for only half the price than other brands, so it's way cheaper than most of the other brands.
And there are 3 customizable sound profiles, earbud tip functions, noise insulation, and awareness mode.
So if you want to try them too, all you have to do is go to buyraycon.com today and use code Howie to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's code Howie at buyraycon.com to secure 15% off. Buyraycon.com, code Howie.
Wow, I can't wait. Now back to the show.
Are you asking all this stuff because you want to start a podcast?
Well, I mean, at some point I might. Depends
Really?
how today goes, I think.
America's got podcasts.
What? Yes.
That could be the next. It would be a franchise.
Yes.
Can I ask you some questions?
Yep.
Because you fascinate me. I love you.
I love you too.
No, I really
No,
do.
I actually do love you.
But so this, I'm fascinated by just you. Tell me, I don't know a lot except that you like Marmite or whatever that shitty, so horrible
I don't know what
snack.
that
He
is.
said that was his favorite snack. Like we talk about like a Hostess Twinkie you would grow up with, or you'd go, I can't remember. I remember when I ate donuts. He goes, when I was a kid, I wanted Marmite, and he ordered it. He got it on the set, and I tried this Marmite. Is it Marmite?
Yeah, it's something you put on like toast.
It's something
And
that
we-
you accidentally get on your lip and you go, oh my God, somebody get this off of my
Yeah,
lip.
I don't know what it's made of,
I
but
think
we
we've just
use it
lost
as an
every-
expression because you either love it or hate it. So when we're like in auditions, we go, yeah, you're like Marmite. People will love you or hate you. Like,
And-
I
and-
love Marmite, and obviously Howie
On
hates
BGT,
it.
that works as a comment. Here we have Americans going, what is he talking
There's a
about?
lot of question marks above their
He
heads
said,
when I say
he
that.
said I'm a Marmite. Anyway, tell me about your
I
upbringing.
did get some though, actually.
I know.
Yeah,
I,
they gave it to
everywhere
me.
I go, you're a big, like, you're like a kid. To me, you're like this amazing, you're like Willy Wonka. Because I,
Yes.
no, I think you are.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and your chocolate factory is making people's dreams come true, eating candy. I walk into a candy store in New York, they go, Simon shops here.
Is that right?
Yes, this is where
I
Simon
know
gets
the
his
little
licorice.
shop.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is where Simon gets his licorice.
Yeah.
And so I know where you shop. I know what you like, but I don't know a lot about you. How many siblings do you have?
You mean, what's that mean?
Your brothers and sisters.
Let me work this out.
What do you mean?
Nicholas, Tony, John,
3,
Michael,
4,
June.
5.
Have I left anyone out?
I don't know.
Okay. Let me start again. Me, Nicholas,
Oh, you didn't.
Tony, John, Michael, June. Yeah, there's 6 of us.
Okay, from the same parents?
No. So my mum and dad were married before, and they had 2 kids each. Then they got married, and then they had me and Nicholas.
Wow. It's kind of a weird British Brady Bunch.
Exactly. But they're all like my real brothers and sisters, you know?
And are you close to siblings?
Yeah.
I think I met a brother.
Which one?
I don't
Michael. I
know.
think you meant Michael.
I don't know. It
Yeah.
was but and did anybody else go into show business?
No.
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 What did your father do for a living?
Well, he was he worked for EMI.
He was in the music business.
No, he wasn't. It was interesting. He ran. So when EMI were EMI, they were like a music company, electronics company. They had record shops. So anything to do with retail, if they bought shops or they built buildings, my dad would organize that for them. But he wasn't part of the music part.
Is that what inspired you to get into music, though? Just because-
No, I've got to be honest with you. All I wanted to do when I was at school was leave. As the first thing I thought, I can remember my first day going to school before I actually started. I remember the car trip back, like it was yesterday. And my mum is trying to sell it to me. She's saying, "Oh, they'll make you really nice vegetable soup, etc., etc." And I'm thinking,
Wait,
I don't-
that's how your mom's selling you
yeah,
school?
it's exactly how
Stay
she
in
sold it.
school, you get great
Nice
vegetable soup.
And I went on the first day, and they gave me beetroot. Do you know what? And you know what
No.
beetroot? Yes, they did.
Beetroot?
Beetroot. You know that horrible red thing.
Like beets.
Well, beetroot. It's like a
But the actual vegetable or juice?
no, a vegetable on a plate, and I hated it. And
What is the first, we call it kindergarten here in America. In kindergarten?
kindergarten, yeah.
So they had all these
Yeah.
5-year-old children and they went,
Well, I
sit
think
down
I-
and eat your beets.
I think I
Where
was
did-
younger than that. Anyway, I used it as an excuse to go, great, I'm not going to school. So my mum had to come back with me the following day and say to the headmaster or mistress, his name was Mr. Wilson, I can remember that, and Mrs. Wilson, please don't give Simon beetroot. Otherwise, I wasn't going to go back to school.
That is so odd.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
Marianne, you're also from the UK. Is this an odd thing, or are you familiar with kids having beetroot at school?
is it? Well, okay.
Did you grow up in London?
No, in Hertfordshire.
Is that where is that from London?
It's about.
Is that considered the country? Is that the north?
Ish. We call it like the suburbs. It's probably about, I don't know, 15, 20 miles. But, you know, all I remember thinking when I was at school was how quickly can I get out of this?
I would
'Cause
love it
I
when the best thing your mother can offer you for staying in
Is vegetable soup.
which
Yeah.
is
How could she offer that if they weren't even providing vegetable soup? She just
Well,
lied to you.
She did actually, yeah.
Yeah.
No, she did lie to me. Yes, she did. But she also knew that I wasn't going to be great at school. So I just used every excuse in the world to get out of going. I used to get a pit in my stomach on a Sunday night.
But so did I, but not because of beetroot.
Well, no, but it was the thought of like there was a certain time at 7:00 where on a Sunday where this television, I think it was a religious program, would come on, and that would signal the countdown to it's school tomorrow,
Monday
and I
morning.
would feel physically sick. So I used to invent, like I'm drinking tea now. One of my things I used to do, I would put this on my head and time it.
For those that are just listening, he's got a hot cup of tea. He's pressing to his forehead.
Yeah,
So his
and then I
mother would think you had a
yeah,
fever.
and then I'd get mum in and I'd put on my ill voice and it's like, Mum, I really, really don't feel very well. I think I got a temperature. She knew.
But did she let you stay home?
Well, my dad was the softie. He was like, he doesn't look very well, Julie.
Were you the baby?
I was the older one out of the two, me and Nicholas.
And how-
What part of school did you not like? Was it-
Everything.
beetroot.
No,
Well, I didn't like
besides
beetroot.
the beetroot. I mean, what would make you physically ill to the point where you don't want to go to school? Was it you were being
Were you not social?
tortured by
No,
other kids?
No,
Or
I was never bullied. I
Mhm.
had friends. I was just bored. And I wasn't very smart. And so,
You're not smart.
well, not really, no.
No.
I mean, I'm
don't say
street-
that because I know you.
I'm street smart.
You
but
are
I'm not
intelligent and you are
academic.
smart. I
Yeah.
don't think knowing you in school, wherever you are in the world, they give you facts. And these facts, for all intents and purposes, cannot be used in anybody's everyday life. You know,
Yeah.
in any given day in school, as the teacher is teaching you anything, I'm thinking, when is this going to come in
Well,
handy?
Exactly. I mean, did you ever have to do woodwork and metal work?
Well, those are kind of things that might come in handy.
Well, we did. So I'm like,
that's not really what
you know,
I
like-
learned in school.
today I'm working a lathe or something. It's like, I don't want to do
You know, that was
this.
one of the things I enjoyed.
What? You like metalwork?
I liked building, at least building something made sense to me. But when they would give me in literature, I would have to read a poem and then they would ask me to write an essay on what it meant to me and why. And I'd write an essay and then I'd get a back mark wrong. What do you mean wrong? And how does that even, was there any subject you liked?
I liked English.
You
But-
did?
Yeah, but all I ever used to write for some reason is horror stories. So whatever subject they gave me, like write a story about an English country cottage, and I would turn it into a horror story.
3 people died.
It's just awful.
Awful. Do you have any of your,
Oh, God,
of
Howie,
your-
I wish I'd kept my reports, what I used to write, because the reports were horrendous. But I used to find,
we
I
are
knew when they were,
concerned about Simon.
I knew when they were coming, so sometimes I would get them before they got to my mum and dad.
And were
try-
they strict with you as far as, were they mad that you were
Well,
not?
Well, My dad, not so. My mom was, yeah, she was definitely the strict one out of the two. But I think my dad realized quite soon I wasn't really academic, and therefore I literally wanted to work. Because when I was growing up, from about the age of about 7 or 8, I would mow people's lawns, I would wash their cars.
Were you looking for money? Did you
Yeah.
like money?
I just loved making money, yeah.
At 7 and 8 years
I
old.
swear to God, yeah.
Do you come from money? Do your parents have money?
Well, my dad was, he did okay, but he wasn't wealthy, no. So no, we didn't really come from a lot of money.
But
I
at
mean,
7 and 8, you were already chasing the dollar or
Yes.
the pound.
yes,
the-
and I loved it, Howie. I really, every time I had time off, in those days, you could just wander around the neighborhood and knock on someone's door and say, can I, mow your lawns? Can I wash your car? So I was all about, and what my mum actually said to me once, and I'm glad she said this, because when we used to go on these annual holidays, she said, look, we're going to pay for the holiday. You've got to earn your spending money. So I'm like, okay, fine. And that was it.
And where does the Cowell family go on a holiday?
We used to go to Spain, Mallorca.
Oh, wow.
Nothing fancy.
Oh,
but-
really? Nothing fancy. Oh, my God.
Well,
To us,
they were
that's
all like
fancy.
all inclusive, like you pay
Doesn't
whatever.
matter.
Yeah.
You have no idea. I'm telling you, you live a very different life than most people lived. And that's why I find you fascinating. How long did you stay in school? When did you finish your education?
I think I left on my 16th birthday.
That's like you, Dad. How long?
No,
did you
I was
stay?
told to leave. Did you get thrown out or did you leave on your own
Oh
accord?
no, I was thrown out of a lot of schools. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was one school I was dropped a year because I was so bad. So I was in the same class as my younger brother, and that was chaos. So they said
They held you back
Yeah.
to be with your younger
Yeah,
brother.
It wasn't a great idea. So it was so bad. So at the end, they said, look, here's the deal. We'll keep one of them, but not both.
We can only handle one
Yeah.
Cowell.
Yeah. So my younger brother was sent to boarding school. And then 6 months later, I followed him for about.
How did they decide if they're going to keep one that they were going to send him away and keep you?
Because I just said, there's no way I'm going.
And did your mother say that there might be good vegetable soup there? So you leave at 16.
I leave at 16. Yeah.
And then what does a 16-year-old young man do in Hertfordshire? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I was just thinking literally, I want to either be in the movie business, TV, or music.
And nobody in your family is involved in any of these.
Nothing. So
Are they supportive?
Well, actually, before that, I don't know why this happened. My mum and dad arranged these really crazy job interviews for me. One was like to be a management team in a supermarket, and I was
Wait, you
thrown
were going to be a
out
manager in a supermarket
Like
at 16.
at management training or something, and he threw me out because I was wearing jeans. So that lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah, the choice you always have in pants for where you go is always interesting.
Thank you.
I love.
Do you like
your
what
new-
I'm wearing?
well, for the
now?
last 2 years, you've been wearing those the muter shorts, which are great.
Yeah.
You take. You know how they say you can take the man out of Malibu, but you can't take Malibu out of the man.
Yeah,
That's
you.
exactly
There you
it.
go.
Yeah, wherever he goes, it's like he's on the beach in Malibu.
There you go. Anyway, so I had all these bizarre job interviews, hated them all. And so then actually, here's a funny story. One of the people I applied to work in their mailroom was Fremantle, and they didn't give me the job.
So for those that don't know, that's amazing. But it's only amazing if you know. Fremantle is the production company and worldwide distributor of America's Got Talent.
and Idol and X Factor. So
You're right. But I don't think any one person has made more money for Fremantle in the history of Fremantle than Simon Cowell worldwide. And you have to know that this is the biggest, probably one of the biggest, it's Family Feud. It's every other show that you see on TV is a Fremantle show. So to be the guy that has given them more money, to think, well, you showed them.
Well, I was thinking, how do you not give someone a job in the mailroom? It's like all I'm doing is delivering mail. I mean, how can you say no if I want to do it? That's what I was kind of thinking at the time. It's like, well, I'll be quick.
What pants were you wearing?
Good. I can't remember.
It might
Anyway,
have been that.
I didn't get the job.
Yeah.
He didn't get
And
a job.
then I actually got a job as a runner
For what?
on a television show. And it
Would
was,
it be a show we would know?
Yeah, it was called. There was a show called The Saint with Roger Moore.
I love the Saint.
Yeah. Well,
You were a runner on that?
No,
Oh.
I was unfortunately on Return of the Saint, which wasn't as good.
After they ran away, you were at the Return
Yeah.
of the Saint.
Yeah.
I never saw the Return of the Saint.
It wasn't great.
How long did that last?
Well, not long because I only had a month's contract, and luckily the PAs liked me. So once my contract was up, they paid my salary because they liked me. But every time the executive producer came into the office, I had to hide under the desk.
What do you mean?
Well, he was just a you know what.
No, but he didn't know that you were employed.
He just
You
didn't-
were just getting a paycheck, but you were hiding from the boss.
Yeah, the girls paid my salary.
That's
That's
amazing.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so that lasted
The
about.
boss is coming. Simon, get under the desk.
Yeah, it was Howie. It was get under the desk, and I
You know you're a movie.
what?
You know you're a movie. Oh my God. All
Anyway,
right. So how long did that last?
Well, until the show finished, and then it was like, well, I don't know what to do next. And anyway, my younger brother now then I got a job in EMI Music Publishing in the mailroom.
through your father.
No, actually,
No.
my mum phoned them up.
Wait, but your dad worked there.
Yeah, but she was the one who got me the interview.
She was a powerful. Like,
Yeah, my mum was like a hustler. She was brilliant. So she got me the job in the mailroom, which I did for a year. And then my younger brother was an real estate agent. He was making a load of money. I was making nothing. So then I decided, well, maybe I'll leave and go into real estate. And I had the worst month of my life. These people were so snotty and so awful.
the customers or the people you were working with.
Who worked there, like the people, selling
Other
houses.
agents.
Yeah, just dreadful. And I was really miserable.
So you
and-
wanted a business where people are really
Friendly.
just nice and
Yes.
warm and
Well,
honest.
I wasn't having fun.
Real estate is it's too tough.
No, but these
not a people
people
place.
were dreadful. So I managed to get my job back at EMI Music Publishing. And then after I think it took me about 18 months, I did get a job in the international department. Now, my dad did get me that job because I said to him basically, look, I'm just stuck in the mailroom. You must know someone. So he phoned the boss and the guy said, yeah, there's a vacancy. And because I got the job through my dad, no one would talk to me for the first 6 months. So that was tough.
Wow. And what was your job in an international department?
Well, there wasn't really a job other than I
but
kind
it was international.
Yeah, it was international.
I
exactly.
did nothing all over the world.
Yes. Well, what I did was I locked myself in a room for about 6 months and I just listened to all of the songs EMI published from other countries. And I then got artists to record those songs. So I would then sort of turn my job into being like a song plugger.
But you did that on your own. That
Yeah.
wasn't the description.
That wasn't
of
your
the-
job. You just did that.
Yeah, I just decided to
So
do it.
when was the first time that you plugged somebody with a song and it became a hit?
Gosh, I can't remember. I got a lot of people to record the songs. And then the A&R guys who I used to have, I'm trying to get in to see an A&R guy. That was tough. And
It was tough for you to get in
Oh,
to see them?
you no idea.
A&R is artist relationships.
Yeah, they were the
So-
guys who signed the artists.
Right.
Uh,
And work them,
and,
right?
Yeah, choose material for them and trying to get in to see one of these.
Even if you work in the company.
No, this is like if you're working at EMI Music Publishing, you had to go in and see someone at Universal or whoever. I mean, there were tons of labels in those days. And the A&R guys were, and girls, I mean, I have to say, but the guys in particular were just horrendous. They were so rude. And then I left and I worked for a guy I met. I liked him. We started this company. And then this little company got bought by a big company. and then and I signed my first artist,
Who was?
a girl called Sinitta.
Oh, I know Sinitta.
Yeah, and
That was your first artist?
yeah, she was
Sinitta
also my
is
girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah,
Sinitta is a beautiful young lady who I met in Hawaii a couple of years ago.
really?
And, yeah, and you're still really good friends with her,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And did
yeah.
she like a pop star, right? Is
Yeah.
she like a pop hit? That was the very first person you signed.
Yeah, we were dating, and she said to me, because I thought I'll just start my own record label,
Right.
And then the guy who I was working with said, "I'm shutting down the record label." I said, "Well, we haven't started it yet," and he went, "I don't care. It's over." So I said, "Well, could you just give me £5,000, I think it was, and I'll make the record, I'll make the video, and somehow I'll make it a hit." And he went, "No." And then eventually we agreed on, I think, £3,500, whatever. And I did. I made this record. I got the video made.
What's the video and the record called?
Well,
Because
the
I'm going to
first-
play it now. I will.
Okay.
We can put it
Well,
up. What is it called?
This was at a time when the music was called High Energy.
The title of the song?
No. This
Oh.
kind of music.
Not
So
disco.
All these tracks were really starting from the gay clubs. And
So like house music.
well, kind of, but even before house music. So if you could get a huge record like that,
Right.
then it could cross over to be a pop record. That was always the
So what's
idea.
the name of the song?
But we would break the records in
In
the
the
gay
clubs.
club. So I used to go to all these clubs with Sinitta, get in the clubs to play the record. And
Wow.
the record was called So Macho.
What?
So
So
macho?
macho.
Yeah.
So macho.
M-A-C.
There it is.
She is.
There she is. She's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I think I'm in the video, actually.
No, you're not.
Really?
I am.
You are?
Or maybe another one. I can't
Can we
remember. I'm
play
in
it?
one of them for a second.
Do we have any audio on this?
As you can see, I didn't have a lot of money to spend.
Wait. That looked like Meatloaf looking out the window. Did you just stop it?
They're trying to get audio so we could hear it as well.
I want to be able to hear it.
It's a great record.
Doesn't that look
No.
like Meatloaf? It's not.
I think it's the same guy playing both roles.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
For £3,500.
No. The video cost me £1,500. I had to manufacture the record.
And you were dating her at the time.
Yeah.
Wow. And then was this a hit?
Well, it took me a year and a half to break the record. And it went to number 2 in the charts. It sold 1 million copies.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a hit.
Yeah, so that was my first hit.
And on your own, you did that aside. You were already out of the record company. This is your own label.
Well, I was still in kind of partnership with this guy, and then everything he was trying to do didn't work so well. This was working well. However, so I was like this tiny little division now of a company, which is a huge company, and the big company, which I wasn't a part of, went bust. And I was encouraged to buy shares in this company. So when it went bust, I was
Broke.
completely and utterly broke. I owed the bank, I think, $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you're a kid.
yeah.
Oh, there it
Oh,
is.
there it is. I could hear it now. Or did you?
No, I met her and I liked her. We started to date, and then she told me she wanted to be a singer, and I heard some demos, and I went, well,
I'll make a record.
I'll make the record.
What a great line. And then you brought it to fruition. How
Yeah.
long did you date her?
A long time, actually. Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah. And she is like still one of my best friends.
That's another thing. I don't want to get personal with anything, but I find that amazing that you are friends with everybody, and everybody seems to be okay with everybody. You know,
Well, I mean, you can still
Terry,
like your exes.
well, here, and maybe it's a UK thing, but here in America, you know, it is an oddity to have to be copacetic. What?
This is a you thing. It's not an
I was
America
gonna
versus
say,
a
thank
UK thing. This is a you thing because
Yeah.
we've had this conversation multiple times. You don't really believe that you can have a relationship with exes and still have a friendship with them and move on to someone else. But that's just you. That's not everyone here in America.
He invited me to his house one day, and I'm sitting there, and his wife, soon to be. Well, I know you're making all the plans, but
Fiance.
Lauren
Yeah.
is sitting at a table with Sinitta, Terry from Access. Is it Access or is it
Extra.
From Extra.
Yeah.
You know, these are all his. So it's not only he's not friends, but everybody just becomes family. I
That's
think you
nice.
it's more
I
than
like
nice.
it.
It's unbelievable. Of course you like it. You know that every other guy in the world looks up to you. So let's get back to your career.
Wait, it's also though about finding these women that are nice people that aren't crazy and won't try to ruin your life for other people that are in your life too. Maybe he's just dating really nice women.
Good point.
I'm
I
learning
actually
life
think-
lessons from Simon Cowell and my
Actually,
daughter.
Jackie, you're right. I have dated nice people. It's a good point. Yeah.
So Sinitta has this hit.
Yeah.
And then what is the next step? Because you've told me stories and they've come in drips and drabs from me. I don't know. But so now you have this business or this platform, or people know that you are the name behind a hit. Do people start sending you material?
Well, I mean, I was in a difficult position because I'd had my first hit record. I owe the bank $500,000, and I don't have a job.
But you don't make money having the hit record?
Well, it wasn't my company, so I didn't have any money. And so I had to repay the bank what they'd loaned me to buy the shares. I had to sell my house, my car.
Oh my God.
So I went to live with my mum and dad again. I
circle
never
of
wanted
life.
to leave in the first place, by the way. So I was quite happy. I just went, like, you know what? Didn't work out. I'm in a bit of a scrape.
How
So
old are you at this point?
I'm probably about 27, 28. I was very lucky. I found a bank manager who believed in me, and he said, "I'll tell you what I'll do, Simon. I will give you a loan, and you got to pay it back to me because, look, if you've done it, once, you'll probably do it again. So I'm going to back you." So, and it took me about 4 years to pay everything back. But it was interesting because everything I thought I loved, like my stupid Porsche or my house, honestly, I couldn't care less. I just gave everything back, and I thought, we're just going to start again. My mum and dad were thrilled because they never wanted me to leave in the first place.
They didn't?
either. No.
No. So what was the next milestone as far as a song or music, or did you?
Well, then I had to find a label or a major company who would back me. And most of the people I initially met went no. And then I found one person who said, "We'll give you a year, but within that year, you've got to sell X amount of records." So I'm like, okay. And fortunately, I did. And that's kind of how I started being an A&R guy. And, I got...
And then you because he's historically attached to so many things that we know about. I think we were talking last time I was talking to you about music. You told me about is the Britney Spears hit?
Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were involved in that
Well,
song.
no, I wish I was. I met Max Martin.
For those that don't know, Max Martin probably has written some of the biggest pop hits that you know, for
Yeah.
Katy Perry, for Britney Spears, for all those young.
Yeah, I mean,
Asian
going back
poppers.
to NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney. I mean, the list is endless. He's a genius. And these group of producers were working in Sweden, and I tracked them down. And there was a guy called wasn't his real name, but his name was Dennis Pop with a Z. And he had put all these producers together.
Right.
I found them a little bit like he's at the background now, like in Stockholm, heard all these songs, and I thought, my God, they're going to change pop music.
You were able to identify that.
Yeah, it was just unbelievable going into that complex.
Incredible.
It was phenomenal. And the tragedy is that Dennis, who'd put all these guys together, he passed away just before, everything went kind of crazy, where they just dominated. And it's still to this day. And like you said,
Max.
Most of the great pop songs written even now, they're Max and his team. It's unbelievable.
So do you heard Hit Me Baby One More Time?
So I knew Max. I didn't know him well. And I had a boy band at the time called Five, who I'd put together. And we were just on the verge of breaking them in America. And someone phones me from America and says, I've just been played this song. And it was written for TLC. And he played me.
TLC was supposed to do Hit Me Baby?
Hit Me Baby One More Time was written for TLC. TLC passed. The guy plays it down the phone to me, this song, Hit Me Baby One More Time. I'm like, oh my God, I've got to have this song. So I phoned up Max. I said, Max, please give me this song. And he went, I promised it to someone else. And I said, well, I'll send you a Mercedes, literally a Mercedes 500 SL, if I can have the song. And he went, no.
He said no.
Yeah, I promised it to somebody else. And I went, who? And he went, Britney Spears. I went, Max, let me give you some advice. No one is going to have a hit with a name called Britney Spears.
Well, she wasn't even known yet.
Wasn't even known.
Now, why would he not take the Mercedes over this unknown?
Because he's honorable. I mean, he'd promised the song and he wasn't going to break the promise. And look, he made the right decision. I mean,
because when I was talking to you about it, that's her first hit.
Yeah.
And her first hit was when I first saw it, before it was any place. You
yeah.
had gone into a store and
Diesel
jeans. I bought jeans for my daughter, and in the Diesel jeans, they gave you a VHS that came, the jeans came folded in a VHS tape. And you would go home and you'd play the VHS tape. And I didn't know who this girl was, Britney Spears. And that was the song. So it wasn't like
Britney and Usher. It had those two songs on it.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when that song went gold, I gave her gold record at on my talk show in 1998. I think that's 1998.
Yeah.
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 But so he didn't take the car, and the rest is history.
And look, we're still good friends now. And it's because I would have taken the car.
Right.
But don't forget, no one had ever heard of this girl before, so he was not going to break his promise, and so I missed out on that. But that's how we sort of met and became friends.
What was the first big music hit you had, like that was internationally that you're attached to? I mean, there's got to be something before. One Direction comes to mind, like that's mega, mega, mega and recent. But before that, what is the first big?
That's a good question. I mean, it was interesting for me because once I was really a full-time A&R guy, I always struggled with getting my records on radio. So I would find different ways to try and break my records.
Yeah, well, that became that. I've seen a documentary on that, not on you, but that was like the mafia, right? That was like just getting, not you.
Oh, I know.
But record companies trying to get airplay.
Oh yeah, I mean
payola.
There was payola. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think we had that in the UK, but yeah, there was a lot of it going on in America. But it was very difficult. If you had a record, you had to, and if radio didn't play your record, you had to find different ways.
Like
so,
Sinitta gave me $3 to have her song played on this podcast.
On this podcast.
So we know the business.
Yes. I was always interested because I always thought it's the music business. So for me as an A&R guy, I was like, I don't care really what it is as long as I can sell records. So I started doing crazy things, like I signed the World Wrestling Federation
To sing?
to sing, yeah, because someone told me they'd sold out Wembley Stadium in like 20 seconds.
So
And I'm
who
like,
sang on that?
Well, I just met the guy who owns them.
Vince McMahon?
Vince, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, you're selling everything. So in principle, why don't we make a record with them? And he went, they can't sing. I said, well, I'll make it work. And we did. We did. So
Hulk Hogan sings lullabies?
we sold millions and millions of records.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. In fact, you've got to watch this if it's
What
there.
is it?
What
Tell
is
me
it?
what it is. I will
think,
watch it.
I think the song was called, was it Slam Dunk? D-U-N-K?
Slam Dunk. Who is the artist? WWE?
Yeah, they were the WWF then, I think.
Oh, WWF. Slam Dunk. We'll look for that.
Why isn't he there?
It will be. They'll find it. Slam Jam?
Slam Jam.
It could be, yeah.
Jam
Summer
Music.
Slam.
93, 1993?
Could be, yeah.
Maybe this is it. How can we forget this song? This is a classic.
Yes, absolutely.
Sold millions, right?
We sold millions. However, you know, the people I work with at the record label despised me because I was like, you know, the devil. It's like, where's the purity? And I'm like,
Purity.
I just want to sell
It's
records.
pure.
Right?
Well,
Who
because
did
you cares
WWF?
about business, you said. They all cared about.
I didn't have any money. So
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, if I want to make some money, I've just got to sell some records. So I was signing them. I was signing the Power Rangers. Anything I thought.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, we made a single with the Power Rangers.
Oh, I got to hear that.
Oh, this is
what's this
brilliant.
called?
I think it's called Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, they're single?
This is a classic.
It would be the theme song.
Because
though, is it?
Chaim Saban is a music guy, right?
Yeah, it took me 6 months to get into Haim.
Yeah.
Not
and-
the theme song.
No, it wasn't the theme song.
The official music video, maybe?
Is
Power
the-
Rangers Evil Rita?
No, I didn't
Oh.
make that one.
Evil Rita is not Simon Cowell.
Anyway, again, it sold millions and millions and millions. So this probably put the idea in my head, which is, you know, music and television together.
When did television come into the play?
Well, I signed 2 actors actually from a TV show who just sang a tiny bit of a song on a drama, and
What's
they were
this?
called Robson and Jerome. So
Robson and
and
Jerome.
They were 2 actors.
Look it up. Robson and Jerome.
And they sung 20 seconds of Unchained Melody in this drama.
Unchained Melody, Robson and Jerome.
Yeah.
Here it is. Unchained Melody, Robson and Jerome. It's already making me laugh.
You all right? Yeah. You?
So they were like soldiers in this drama.
Good.
Ready? Here we go. There's that guy again.
There is.
My love, my darling,
It's actually good.
I've hungered
It's got a good voice.
for your touch.
Well,
But this isn't their song.
no, this was the Righteous
Yeah.
Brothers.
The Righteous
Yeah.
Brothers.
So this is the song they sang in the drama.
Okay, you
though.
can turn it off.
Got it.
That was
So-
comedic.
Well, I mean, they were kind of funny. They were funny. They didn't want to make the record. So basically, what I said to them was, it got to the point where one of them, I was driving him so crazy, got his lawyer to say, if you harass my client one more time, we're going to put a restraining order on you.
It's called stalking.
Called-
sorry.
I actually did stalk them for 6 months, but eventually I got a meeting with one of them, and
By
I
promising them vegetable soup.
No, I said, I know you don't want to make a record. I'll give you £50,000 each just to go into a recording studio, and if you don't like it, you can keep the money.
Really?
I swear.
You with the offers, the Mercedes,
Yeah.
the 50. Did they say okay?
Yeah, but I also thought if I get them into a studio, they're going to know that they can sing, basically. So I put the record out, and it sold 1 million copies on day one.
Holy moly.
Yeah, they were the the biggest selling artists in the UK for 2 years running. It was unbelievable.
Did they come back to you and go, Simon, thank you for stocking? Like, did they ever?
Yeah, I mean, we were friends, obviously, afterwards. But it was at the time, it was everything was like a hustle, you know.
This is what fascinates me. I'm not that familiar with that time of television in the UK. But when Idol premiered, you were opposite. We had a hit here called Star Search.
Yeah.
You familiar with
Yeah.
Star Search?
Yeah.
So we have done talent shows. And I've always been a proponent. I love UK television. I grew up in Canada. I love UK television, UK comedy more than I've ever loved American.
Yeah, I know you did.
And one of the reasons I liked it because I feel that sometimes we incessantly, as in America, want to be nice. You know, you're a very nice person. I'm a nice person, but I'm thinking sometimes in the way of comedy or even reality. That's changed since. But you were the first person I ever saw on a national television show. And I'm not saying you weren't nice. I'm just saying that you were honest.
Yeah.
And we had never seen anything even close to that. You know, you would always, even if you heard, and you use this comment frequently, you know, like somebody who sounded like a cat that was being tortured, you would go, listen, you have a lot of energy. I don't know if you have, you know, and I like the sentiment, but you know that you are the reason for the success of that show.
I don't know about that.
But was there was there ever a question in your mind, because we all want to be liked, that you were trotting on dangerous territory in front of a mass audience being...
No, I never thought of it that way.
You'd never?
No, I tell you why. Because, you know, before, you know, doing this on TV, I would audition people all year long.
Right.
And I found auditions fascinating. You
Right.
know, just find it, because I was always putting groups together. And so we had to audition people.
Right.
I would put together pop groups. I put together a classical group once, Il Divo, you know,
Yeah.
for classical singers.
Who end up doing amazing.
Amazing, yeah. So I was used to auditioning. I also found them fascinating and really funny. I just couldn't stop laughing in auditions.
I get that, but you're talking about, they came into the auditions that used to come, you're talking about in an office or in a
In a kind
record
of like
company
a dance studio or something.
or in a
would do them.
studio. So you can go and tell somebody, you know, listen, you got the voice of a dead animal. You're not going to record it. You could say that.
Well,
When you are
it was worse than that. They
Well-
would walk in the door and I would just say, forget it. I
Right.
mean, it was brutal because we used to see hundreds of people every week.
And actors and actresses go through that kind of thing all the time.
Yeah.
And people tell me that about modeling and that. But now knowing that you are on national television, international television, the pressure is, you know, it's like you had the comfort of your own office to tell somebody what they want or whatever the venue was. They were coming to see Simon Cowell to try to get signed. Now you're on a television show. Did you not feel any of that? I mean, it's great that you didn't, and I think that you paved the way for all of us, but you know that you created something that didn't exist in the ether even before that.
Well, I wasn't kind of overthinking it. I thought this is going to be really funny because I know, like I said, I know what auditions are like. And if we're going to film auditions, then, you know, we can't lie to people if they're terrible. And, you know, you see a lot of people in the day and you get frustrated or you get bored. And like I said, I can't stop laughing normally. So
I get it. But
so-
you were also being, I remember reading, this is before I have ever met you or knew you, you were getting threatened sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I think on day 2, someone came down to punch me. Yeah.
What? So what I'm saying is that was a different atmosphere than
In
just
America, they were waiting for me outside one of the rooms with baseball bats.
Okay. So
that didn't change your mind? From what he's saying,
No.
that doesn't change your mind, and you then decide I need to scale it back a bit for even my own safety.
No, I just thought take a different route the next time.
Yeah.
What was that different route? I didn't know.
Out another door.
Yeah, out another door,
Yeah.
basically.
Because the overall feeling, and I don't know if this is true, but the overall feeling is today you're different than you were then. And I think we all are as we get older and as we mature and as we, right?
Well, I
Or do you
think,
being a
you know, when
parent?
we did this, and when I thought, okay, if I'm going to be on TV, I never got paid, by the way, the first time I did it. I
What are you
just
talking
thought,
about?
and they never paid me. I just said, you know, as long as I can sign the winner, I don't really care. because I was just thinking, I think we're going to sell a ton of records and we're going to find some great artists.
Wait, did you get the artists from Idol too?
Yeah.
So you got Kelly?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I didn't-
So that's all I really cared about. And I was frustrated.
But you made an amazing deal. That's worth more than anything they can ever pay
Well,
you.
That's kind of what I was thinking, which was the odds must be stacked in our favor that we're going to find one good person. Because don't forget, this is before social media and everything else.
Right.
So if you couldn't get a record deal, that was it. So for when these shows started, yeah, I mean, they would be lining up round the block to come and audition for us. And then I would get frustrated thinking, why are there so many bad people? I thought everybody was going to be great.
So you were more upset because they were wasting your time. I'm
Yeah.
doing this for free,
But
Yeah.
and I'm looking for
Thank
someone that's
you.
going to give me the paycheck.
Yeah, I
Oh,
need
you're
an
right.
artist. And if we don't find a great artist, this is going to be really, really bad for me and embarrassing.
But they were casting
But-
for television. I mean, William Hung, nobody thought.
well, yeah, I realized that afterwards, Howie, which was
when you said, "I'm not,"
the
all I
joke
want
was on me.
Yeah, it was.
Did
on
it
you.
also open doors for you to sign other artists that were there that perhaps weren't the winners as
Yeah.
well? Yeah.
Yeah, we had an option. So that's all I was really thinking about, which was, if we're going to do this, we can't take it that seriously because it is fun.
Yeah.
And I want to show people what auditions really are like, which are, they're just funny.
Here's what just as my perception as an observer who hadn't met you yet or anything. I was so fascinated, and I watched every episode. I was so fascinated. You were a guy. You kind of reminded me. I have ADD, and
No, actually, can I get some water, please?
yeah.
Any
Can you bring in
water?
water? She's getting it.
Thank you.
All right. And I have behavioral issues that didn't help me in school. And what used to get me is this guy doesn't seem like he knows he's on TV, which was the most intriguing, wonderful thing I ever saw. I said, I feel like I'm watching I'd be watching Paula Abdul, and then out of the left side of the screen, I'd see a pen come in and just mark the side of her face or her ear. And I'd go, are you kidding me? This is on national TV. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Or she goes, the third song wasn't great. And then you go, he didn't sing 3 songs. And she'd say, you told me he sang 3 songs. So I'd go, excuse my language, but he's fucking with these people on national live TV. I've never seen anything like that. To that end, and in the same respect, whatever his thought is and however he's responding to whatever he's hearing, he is also saying. Whereas we in America are used to seeing a lot of phony thought go into what people say.
Yeah.
You can cross now. She walked in before.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank
Yes.
you very much. Cheers.
Hi, you're on the podcast again. 4th day you've been on the podcast twice.
We had a great time. And the funny thing was, we didn't have high expectations, if I'm being honest with you, because I thought, well, let's give it a go. And maybe, if we're lucky, we'll find a great artist in the UK. And then when we got a call to make the show in America, I'd already tried to sell the show in America, and I was thrown out. I mean, one meeting was so bad, I was winding the guy up because within 5 seconds he said no. And I was with someone else. So I said, well, that sounds encouraging. And he went, I said no. So I said, well, can we meet again next week? By this point, he's standing up. And I was kicking the guy. I was laughing so much. And he was getting more and more angry. And then finally, he literally threw me out of his office. And I'd forgot to order a taxi that day. So me and my friend were sitting on the steps of this huge building. And I looked at him and I went, it will never get worse than this. So...
You know what? The struggle continues. And you are a great inspiration in watching people who, everybody has an excuse for not being where they say they want to be.
Yeah.
And you don't take no, even though that's really funny, but it's actually true. because even AGT, which is, if people don't know, America's Got Talent, the Got Talent brand is, do you know that it's the #1 syndicated television program in the world? And I'm not talking about the ratings we're getting here in America. I'm talking about how many different countries it plays in. And that started from, for all intents and purposes, a failure, right? You did that. You did it. Didn't you do it as a pilot in England?
It was a disaster. It was so
And
bad.
you had to pay for it yourself, right? You did it yourself.
Well, I mean, it was tricky. Yeah, we had to pay for it ourselves. As we were shooting it, I thought this is literally a train wreck. But I said maybe we can do something in the edit, and it came back, and I said this is unwatchable. So we kept cutting about. I had 7 minutes, which we could have put out just about, and the network said no. And then I get a call out of the blue from NBC saying, what's this new show you're working on? Like, I went, incredible. I've got a highlight reel I can show you. That's all I had.
A highlight reel, which happened to be the entire pilot.
Yeah.
That was all
7
we
minutes.
could show them.
Yeah.
And they went, oh yeah, it's really good. And I went, yeah, it's amazing. And they went, we'll buy it. I went, what? Yeah, we'll buy it. And I went, great. So I have an expression in life, when someone says yes, shut up. So I just said, thank you very much, the meeting's over. In other words, I'm going to end this meeting in case they change their mind. And I waited for the call, and 24 hours later, we get a written offer. And I'm like, thank God for that. Because if we hadn't had that call,
And
it was over.
17 years later, it is the most watched. It is the most syndicated. It is the most successful, even digitally, billions and billions and billions of views online in the entire world. Not only that, if you drive down I can only speak for America, but if you drive down the strip in Las Vegas, every name on every billboard, even if they didn't necessarily win AGT, they got their start on AGT, whether you're talking about the Jabberwockies, whether you're talking about Shin Lim, Terry Fader, any name at any show is there because of you. Then you do no, but I'm saying I'm going back. It's you, buddy. This is all about you. You do the X Factor. You have other shows, and you're a mogul, and you could turn on the radio. At one time, I think a couple of years ago, you're veering yourself away from specifically from music, but you could turn on the radio. The top 10 songs or music you had 4 or 5 of them all at any given time, and whether it was One Direction, Leona Lewis, the girl bands that you had, like everywhere you turn and anything that is going into our eyes and ears, Simon Cowell had his thumb on.
Yeah.
Do you ever
I'm so interested in the whole music aspect and talking to people that are in the business and finding out what you think when it comes to the music business, how it was versus how it is now, and how there's so many people that just get their start. Like, you already have to be huge or get big numbers in order to be signed nowadays. Whereas when you started, you were finding people and building them and building a career for them. Do you see a difference now? Is that why you're veering away from music?
I stopped for a while, Jackie, because I thought, I don't know where this is heading right now. There's too many people right now trying to get deals. And it's one thing having a hit record, it's another thing having a career. And obviously the latter is the most important. And I think everyone was struggling a few years ago to work out, how do you, basically decide to sign anyone and invest in them, because that's what we used to have.
But don't
to
you
do.
find that today that you don't invest in people because they feel like they can do it themselves? Like, even right now on our show, on this season, Drake Mulligan, who is an amazing performer, and he is a country star, and you kind of shared something with me backstage. He sang a song. He sang one of his own songs the first time he came on the audition. That song went to #1 on the country charts on Apple Music.
Yeah.
Boom. And then he came back, and he's in the live shows, and he sang another original song. Next day, boom, #1. That's money. People are downloading, they're streaming the song, they're paying the money. And Simon said to me, I'm just so happy he came back. And I said, what does that even mean? Tell her what you told me. People take these platforms and take off. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened. I mean, luckily not so much with us, but on other shows, yeah, they'll come on, they'll audition, they'll get some traction, and they'll go, right, I'm not competing anymore. So I was amazed that he would stay in. And I said to him, you have my absolute respect, because you kind of got what you wanted from the audition. The fact that you're still willing to compete says a lot about you. But what's really interesting is I am getting back into the music business with something I'm going to announce. I wish I could tell you, but I'm about 4 weeks away from announcing it. And it's taken me...
I'll hold this from 4 weeks. No? No, Marianne?
No, just say no.
It's something I really believe.
Is it the wedding date? Can you announce that?
I can't even announce
Yeah,
that. But this is what I believe is part of the missing link for what people need right now to get a record deal.
Okay.
So I'm doing
and I
this-
think that if you have come up with it, there's a good chance that you will change the way business is done. Because in talking to you, you always went after something, you got in it and then did it or succeeded in it in a way that wasn't the way that they were doing it.
Well, no, you hear more about people's success than failures. And trust me, along the way.
But you don't give up.
Yeah, I mean, look, it happens. You know, you have an instinct for something. No one ever walks in your door with a hit. It just doesn't happen. I wish it did. You have to come up with an idea. And sometimes it's like a conversation we're having now. You might say something and something registers in your head. And it's like, you know what, whatever. That's how things originate. Or someone comes in with half an idea and you go, you know what, I think I can make it into this or whatever. And then you got to decide, I've got to give up a year of my life now to see if I can make it happen. And that's the tough part, but that's the exciting part as well. And, you know, it's funny, you know, when I talk about, you know, trying to sell Idol or Got Talent as an example, you know, it's when it went wrong is almost the best part of it, you know, because...
Well, you also kind of revel in, you know, people who aren't in television or show business, you know, you think you're just watching a show and the cameras turn on to whatever's happening, but a lot goes into it. There's on any one of our productions, there's probably 200 or 300 people putting together, and you know, everything from the lighting to the set design to the, you know, the script of how it's going to go, and it has to come in on time, and there's post-production and everything. So a lot can go wrong. I've never seen somebody revel more in when things go wrong. That seems to be your little playground.
No, but that's why we do the shows live. I mean, we could, you know, record everything and it would be kind of safe and everything else. It's always that feeling. I remember, I don't want to snap it again, but I remember one time I turned up late for a live shows. The producers were looking at me.
If you were late, can you imagine what time your publicist got there?
Didn't turn up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Anyway, so that night there was a danger at, and somebody got shot, and it went wrong. And so the guy has got an arrow in his neck,
right in his throat.
Now Howie saw it. I saw it. The other two girls just carried on as if nothing had happened. They were like, yeah, we didn't really like the music you used. And like,
That's
No
choking.
way.
Yes,
Yeah.
with an arrow in
Yeah.
his throat.
and we're
Did
like,
they not realize that wasn't part of the act?
I have no idea. But it was like,
That's
what
what I
season?
said. People
What
think
other-
about what they're saying, and they want to be nice. They're not acting like with what they say. He finally leans over to her, and he goes, he's got an arrow in his neck. Can somebody call 911?
yeah, can we get him to a hospital, please?
Was that a live show?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a live show.
Why don't I remember
Yeah.
that?
No, I can show you the tape.
Okay.
There is a tape. We do have a tape. We could show the tape.
Can we show the tape?
I think we can show the tape.
Okay.
There is a tape with the.
I mean, look,
could plug it
luckily
in
he
after.
was fine. I don't want it to happen again. However, when you do live TV, yeah, I mean, you don't want that to happen.
crossbow into the neck. Crossbow into the neck. Live AGT crossbow into the neck.
Is that
Yeah.
what you do?
What?
You just say that.
And it just comes up.
I
I just
love
have, Siri works for me.
I love that.
I used to work with Alexa, but she got jealous. So now I have Siri. So unlike
Got
you,
it.
Alexa
Crossbow
won't
goes
hang out
wrong?
anymore. What?
Crossbow goes wrong?
Yes, that's it.
What do I want?
Crossbow
How long
goes
ago was this?
like 3 years.
3 years ago, yeah.
Oh, I was there.
4 years ago.
Yeah. Glad tell it.
It's
Ryan
a
and
swell
Amber.
time of year. Ryan and Amber Lynn are just thrilled.
Just so you can fast forward a little bit.
I don't even want to watch. I don't.
Sunshine and lollipops.
I don't want to watch.
Go fast forward more. Oh, here it's coming. It's coming.
Watch through that.
Oh, here we go. As soon as it happens, you stop it. As soon as it happens, stop it. She's at a crossbow. He's putting a funnel in his mouth. He's got a target. Oh, no. Ready?
What?
It's on fire, no less.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Oh, in the throat. Stop it. Just stop it. Anyway, we won't show the rest of this. But one of the girls, at this point, one of the girls goes, I'll tell you something. That music, Sunshine and Lollipops, does not go along with what you did. There is no song, Flaming Arrow to the Throat.
I think it takes me back to being back at school because I was, again, with school, I couldn't stop laughing. That was my other problem. So when we had like the big talk, that year, and Eric's just gone through the same thing. And he came home and I said, well, what was it like? He said, Daddy, I couldn't stop laughing. I burst out laughing.
The apple didn't fall far
Yeah,
from the
I said,
tree.
because the same thing happened to me. The minute the first diagram went on, I literally fell back. I remember I was crying, laughing on the floor.
Can I tell you something? I laugh a lot. I cry a lot. I enjoy a lot. I'm so glad that you are in my life. I know that you said this is the very first podcast you did. You should do more. You're really interesting. I would imagine people would love to hear you talk.
Do we have a sponsor?
We'll see after this.
I hope. I don't have anybody. I did this out of the goodness of my heart.
Lollipops. I'm thinking now.
I don't know. Maybe we can get somebody. But anyway, I love you, buddy.
I love you too.
I wish you nothing but health.
I
I
have
hope
to
you
say
don't
something.
get on a bike. What?
Howie is one of those people who is the person you see on camera, the way he treats everyone around him. It's
See?
true.
I told you.
No, but he really, really is.
No, I
I'm just a-
agree. I mean, I agree now.
And that's why I
we didn't get along.
I do love you.
I do love you too.
He
Yeah.
does
And-
love
and
you.
the
He
world
talks about
loves
you
you.
all the time.
And if you look, I do talk about you all the time. And if you look at not only the shows and not only the music, but the things that happen that you don't talk about. Every year I see a little girl from the UK who is in a wheelchair and her mother show up at the show. And I know that you fly them there. And I know that you don't speak of these things, and maybe your publicist will have me cut this out of but you do so much good work. The Make-A-Wish Foundation is always backstage. And I know that's not even an NBC thing. You care about children, you care about animals, you care about humanity. Because of your ideas and because of people showing up and doing the projects that you're involved with, lives have changed forever. People have got careers and dreams come true. And to have you on my podcast, another one of my dreams came true. So thank you for coming all the way out to Van Nuys, California.
How do I get back?
I don't know.
How do I go
don't know.
from here to Malibu?
I love you, buddy.
I love you too.
That's the end.
I love both of you.
Love you too.
That'd be brilliant.
Thank you.